Hey, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the show. I'm your host, Vic Sinise. Glad to have you on board. We come to you live every Saturday at 9 a.m. Central Time on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, X, and we're coming on Instagram today, too. So, any of those places, feel free to subscribe and like our show. If you're new to the show, be sure to check out our website at euronurse.com, the best place to go to learn more about the show, visit our other great podcasts, and also visit our sponsors. Also, the best place to go to watch all of our past episodes. This is episode 138, so there's 137 of those episodes that you can watch. Also, if you want to listen in your car, no problemo. Just check out our podcast on any of your favorite podcasting like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeart, Amazon Music, and YouTube Music. We're live on all of those places. About a half hour after the show, the audio version goes up. This week, I'm really happy to have Celeste Bonham joining us. She's going to talk about a product she invented. This is a really necessary product because it changes life for a lot of people with a specialized kind of catheter holder bag, and she'll tell us more about that. Let's bring Celeste into the show here. Celeste, welcome to the show.
Hello.
I'm going to give a little introduction for those that might be new to the show of myself. Then I'll swing you over to give your introduction, if you don't mind, to tell people how you came about this and got into this business. Again, my name is Vic Sinise. I've been a urology nurse for over 40 years and enjoying the fact that now I've cut back a little bit on being the regular everyday work. So I was able to bring this to life. So UroNurse has been around for about 2.5 years now. Welcome to the show. And now I'm going to bring Celeste in to tell you a little bit about herself.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for having me, Vic. I got involved in urology. I had no knowledge in urology, but my father became incontinent due to prostate cancer. And his surgeries trying to remedy his issue left him incontinent, and there was no resolution beyond that but to remain incontinent. When he left the VA hospital, he was put in diapers, and as a retired colonel from the military, he felt his life was over being in diapers. And so my mother, he went through a depression, stopped doing any social activities, stopped his walks, and all of that. And then my mother found the leg bag with straps, and my father was renewed in life. He felt, I can do my walks, I can get into social activities. However, if the leg bag gets so full, it gets heavy, and it would drop down and cause an embarrassment for him. So my mother came to me, I've invented something previously, came to me and said, can you figure out a way to hold your father's leg bag so I can get rid of the straps? And I kind of fought the idea at first because I knew nothing about urology or anything, but to help my dad, and my mother was very adamant that I was going to do this. So I ended up bringing in, I came out of motion pictures. I brought in a designer that I knew, had a relationship with, and told her the problem. And we sat down and started doing some drafting of ideas. And then once this was purely just for my father, I had no intention of ever creating a company around urology. Then when I did some research on it, what my father was experiencing was the same of many people out there, that they started to not be in social activities as before. They made a lot of changes. There's such a stigma against somebody who's incontinent. And I saw how it affected my father. So I realized that I wasn't going to go back into motion pictures, that I folded up the script and I said, well, if this is helping my dad, it'll help a lot of other people. I thought that I would never still be in urology, but I am, and I'm grateful that I am, because it's probably one of the most rewarding experiences, because I constantly get testimonials from all over the world of people that use our product, how it's changed their life. And I'm very, very grateful that I had the opportunity to get into something that otherwise I would never have known, to do.
Yeah, I think a lot of things are invented because there's a need. That's what drives everything. All right. So you ready to give your talk?
I am.
Great.
I am. All right. Euro Concepts is the name of our company. And our position is basically to, I'll tell you a quick story. When I first decided to get into urology, I went to one of my attorneys, and I had previously contacted all of the manufacturers in urology that had urological products and asked for them to send me some samples. So I walked in to one of my attorneys at the time with a box of all these samples, and I put it in the conference room table, and I turned it upside down, and I asked my lawyer, I said, have you ever seen a more ugly group of products? And he looked down and he said, no. And I said, well, I'm determined I'm going to change that. And so there it is. And so that was the birth of Euro Concepts. As I mentioned, my company is dedicated to improve the quality of life for persons that experience urinary incontinence, and to really renew the dignity which a lot of people lose when they become incontinent. Our market objective is basically to invent products that benefit lives and make you come back to as normal as possible as you're dealing with incontinence, even if it's for a short period of time after prostate surgery, or as my father was for the rest of his life. We're very fortunate and very happy to say we've now entered the international market, and we just signed a 3-year distribution deal in Saudi Arabia. I'm working on getting into Brazil and South America, as well as Europe, and the beginnings of getting into India. The market is, I'm singing to the choir here. So, so please forgive me, because you'll know a lot of this. Incontinence basically becomes part of certain diagnoses. Aging, as we all know, loss of strength and all of that both men and women a lot of the times become incontinent due to childbirth, and men of age, as we all have experienced, whether we have children or not. Diabetes is another segment of the market that can end up causing somebody to be incontinent. Prostate cancer, as you well know, whether it's short-term or long-term, and spinal cord, which is one of my heartstrings of helping people who have spinal cord injury. And all of these, and there's 3 more, which you know: muscular dystrophy, multiple sclerosis, and cerebral palsy, all have people with these diagnoses will at some point or another, a good percentage of them will experience either short-term, intermittent, or long-term incontinence. And they're dealing with a disease, both in these as well as all of these, that are compromising their lifestyles anyway. And on top of that, they're having to deal with having to figure out a way to live life as normal as possible. Excuse me. And then at the same time, in dealing with incontinence on top of their diagnosis anyway. So what we're trying to do is bring products to them that bring more of a normalcy, so makes their life easier as they're dealing with their things. So we have a lot of different solutions. Our products, I'm going to focus on the one which Vic had introduced you to, of our Euro suspensory. However, we are in various stages of 5 products within the company. This is the Euro, which you have received information on prior to that. It's a very, very comfortable leg bag system, no leg straps. It's recommended by urologists. It's also a unisex, men and women. Now, men, if they don't have an indwelling catheter, they can use a condom catheter, women, one of our 5 products is developing a female external collection system, which is not on the market. We're hoping probably in 2026 that will be launched into the marketplace. The one thing about not having leg straps is it doesn't constrict circulation to the lower extremity. Leg straps are like tourniquets around your leg, and they constrict circulation and have a lot of negative things in regards to that. My very first customer was a nurse in Arizona who had an elderly patient, and he was using the leg straps, but he kept having an open sore that because of the abrasion of the straps, and they couldn't heal it because the straps kept opening it up and it would get infected, and he was having to deal with a lot of other things just besides controlling, being able to control his urine outtake. And she contacted me after receiving one of our undergarment holders and said within 2 weeks they were putting ointment on it, on the open sores, and that it was almost healed. And she was just so grateful that he had a better product that didn't cause open skin sores. There are, let me see. One thing I'm also reading on the screen, excuse me. One thing is that this product works for every catheter, condom catheter, and all indwelling catheters, including nephrostomy, left, right, and bilateral. That came about when I was presenting at UCLA Medical, and a doctor came up to me after the presentation and said, would you be able to adapt your product for nephrostomy, which was his specialty? And I said, sure, but what is nephrostomy? I mean, that's how much I didn't know. I was in early stages. And he explained it, and it was so easy to adapt our product. And he was so grateful because he said people with nephrostomy are so challenged by how you get the tube around the back down into leg bag, and so many people stopped going outside. There was a woman up in Canada who had a nephrostomy, and she felt she couldn't leave her house. After she converted into our product, she would send me emails because she was traveling and visiting family and friends and everything else. So it gave her the freedom. The Euro suspensory, which is Medicare, Medicaid approved for reimbursement, if you qualify, includes 2 vinyl leg bags, 600 milliliters. They have the T-tap. We chose the T-tap on this because we sell to a lot of veterans and a lot of people with spinal cord and wheelchairs, and it's easy for them to open up the release valve through their outer clothing just by moving it left and right. And we felt that it was a better release valve for us. It also includes 2 short tubings. That is for the condom catheter users, so that there's no kickback in the flow. And then our undergarment, which comes, it's a cotton poly. The poly allows it to have a history, and it comes in 6 sizes from 28 waist sizes up all the way to 50. The other thing that we have, which is our uniqueness of it, is our seaming. The seams that we use and the way that we cut the fabric is that the product will not expand vertically due to the weight, but it will expand horizontally as the leg bag starts getting full. The pouch in the leg expands to accommodate it. But we still recommend that once you get close to the 50% of the fill of the leg bag, to empty it, just for comfort and weight and everything else. This is, I put in red, leg straps should never be used by any of anyone who's using a leg bag, leg straps. They are so harmful to the users because they're tourniquets around the legs. We have had people with spinal cord that have maybe not full feeling around their leg, that they don't sometimes know exactly how tight that they're making the leg straps. That cuts off circulation, that cuts off blood flow. Anybody with diabetes, spinal cord, or any other diagnosis that deals with the circulatory should never, ever use leg straps, because there's just so many. You don't have to do something when you have an alternative that eliminates tourniquets around your legs. So it's in red. Our position, the more that we've investigated this, the more we get feedback, is really that leg straps should never be used. And I'll tell you something, when I first invented this, I thought this would become the norm, because I thought that leg straps were so archaic and almost from the dinosaur period, because the leg is wider at top and then gets smaller and smaller. So when you're putting straps on it and then you're putting weight into a leg bag, what's it going to do but drop down? And if you're in an indwelling catheter, when you drop down that leg bag, you're pulling out and pulling out, you're pulling from that indwelling catheter. And that in itself can have some negative consequences too. So, it's Medicare, Medicaid reimbursed. There's no, financially, there's not. We're also getting ready to offer the leg bag holder only without the leg bags and tubing. And that should happen in about a month. And we're trying our very hardest to bring it down as the least expensive, so that anybody would be able to get it and live their life. This is what you have the options that once you become incontinent, whether it's a short duration of time through post-prostate or the rest of your life. You have the leg straps, which I've just gone into, or you have the diapers, which can leak and smell, and people don't feel necessarily all that comfortable with that. You also have the one-legged, which is better than the two top ones. However, it is only for one leg, which it can go from your left leg or your right leg. Or you have the sleeve, which does not hold a leg back that's been being used securely on the leg, because there's no straps to your waist on that. So it's just a sleeve on your leg that will drop down. And here you have, it's shown here with a release valve here on one, but in both legs. One of the reasons that we have the ability to put a leg bag in one or both legs is that we deal with a lot of people that have amputation, a lot of veterans. We love our veterans. And sometimes they don't have access to the left or right leg. So the leg bag can fit in either one. And like I mentioned on the nephrostomy, if you have a patient that has left, right, or bilateral, meaning that there's a tubing coming out of both kidneys, that you can bring in and have a leg bag for each side of where that tubing is coming from. And the tubing ends up going around the end and coming through a thing here, an opening here, and then goes down into the leg bag. David Wagner, I love. He is one of the kindest and nicest people. And he has been a gold medalist, silver medalist, Paralympics, world, loves our product. We send him product for other players in his group. He's now teaching younger people tennis, and he's one of the kindest, most wonderful people on this planet. We have a lot of testimonials. I won't go into each one of these, but people like our product. people like the renewed dignity that if you stand in front of a mirror and you have a leg bag with 2 straps around your leg, and then you stand in front of a mirror next to that with our garment, which completely conceals the whole collection system underneath the outer garment, the undergarment. You feel like you're normal again. You don't have this thing strapped on your leg, that wants to fall down if you move. We're in the baby boomer period also. Baby boomers like to hike. They like to do things. They like physical things. Well, with leg straps, they're very, very limited with that. With our product, they can do a lot of activity. They may not be able to sprint, but they can take their walks with their loved ones and all of that. When I was inventing this, designing it, I was in my house and I strapped on a leg bag with some water in it, and I filled it about halfway. And I literally, and I didn't live in a mansion, walked across my living room. By the time I got to the opposite wall, that thing had dropped. And I thought, okay, this really doesn't work for anybody that wants any. And I wasn't running across the room. I was walking across the room and it dropped. So it really can limit physical activity. And our product allows the whole thing to stay securely in place. So one of our other ones is an anti-reflux connector, which is now not on the market. We had distribution. COVID came. The distributor couldn't get into hospitals and nursing homes. The reason this was invented was some nurses up in Seattle came to me and said, our bottom line in hospitals is it's really affecting us because of UTIs if they're in the hospital after somebody's admitted. And said the big boys are not coming up with anything. We use all of their products, and we're still having these incidences of UTIs, and it's costing our bottom line. Can you figure something out? So I said, okay, I'll do my best. And what I realized was you have the anti-reflux in the leg bag, but between the catheter and the tubing prior to the leg bag, you don't have anything to prevent backflow. So if you have a bedridden patient or anybody that lays down, you can have ponding of urine. Urine can contain bacteria. Bacteria can create UTIs. So that if somebody is in a bed or they're laying prone and they raise their leg up or they turn to the side, if there's any ponding of urine in it, it can go from the tubing, the normal tubing, into the catheter and potentially into the person, and that can create a UTI. So what I invented was an anti-reflux. It's exactly the same size as a regular connector, other than urine flow can go down, but it can't go back up. So it keeps any urine that's ponded in the tubing from going back into the catheter. And so right now we're looking for a distributor to take it because this product can work with leg bags. This product can work with tubing. The patents on these are very strong. And I think that it's not a huge difference in pricing. But it will help. It will help in the long term financially for people. So the protocol on this is the connector that doesn't have our anti-reflux in it, has a 4.8 seconds, and that's from the water flow. The same water flow with our anti-reflux connector in it is only like, what is it? It's 5.1 seconds, so that's not. A microvalve on that has a really slow backflow. So it's something that we believe internationally that this is something that has a real strong reason for it to be come into the market and available to people. This is a testimonial by an EMS who did some work in a emergency room, of which he said, I kept seeing people being transferred from a gurney into a bed, and then raising up the leg bag, and I could literally see the flow going back up. And he said, this is such a needed product in the industry. So the other thing is we're working on a Eurobag cleanse. We're hoping to have that. This is a brand new idea to make it more convenient, so you don't have to create a lab in your bathroom, to make it very user-friendly. And it is a 1-month product that has 30 little packets that you put into a bottle that has a thin top to it, so it goes right into the tubing, right into the leg bag, and it's with something that is known that helps to get rid of bacteria. And so if it's user friendly and you don't have to bring out funnels and everything else to do it, we're wanting that the more times, at least once a day, if you can wash the system, the tubing, the leg bag with something that gets rid of bacteria, people, if it's user friendly, people are going to use it. If you have to pull out all kinds of things, they won't use it, and then they're more susceptible to UTI. We're working on Lady Tulip, which I mentioned to you. We have done 5 prototypes on this. The first one leaked like a sieve. The last one didn't leak at all. And we're hoping that will get released probably next year. We've just begun engineering on a new ostomy bag. One of our advisors is an ostomite, a nurse, a retired nurse. And we're addressing a problem with the current ostomy bag, which I cannot divulge, but we're in the engineering phase. The prototype phase will launch soon, and then our patents will be applied, and then we can reveal more of what we're doing. And the bottom line is thank you. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for what you do to help your patients, because you're making their life better. You're making their life better. They come to you and they're sad. They're like, why did this happen to me? I can't do this. I can't do that. I'm embarrassed. I don't want to tell anybody. I don't want to tell my friends. I've stopped going to, activities. I can't go to the dance anymore because of what I'm going through. So what you guys do out there, women and men, I hope both are listening, really make a difference. And I salute you. I applaud you. You're literally in a position to help somebody get back into their life and live with what they have to deal with. So thank you. Thank you for being.
Thank you, Celeste. That was really great. Just a warm welcome to Diane from Seattle and Susie from Centralia, Washington. Washington's in the house. If you have any questions, feel free to put those in the comment box. We'll be glad to ask Celeste any of your questions. And if you don't, you're going to have to put up with my questions. So, Celeste, I'd like to kick it off with a question. I've had a number of new inventions that have been brought in because of similar situations as your own. They saw a need for it, sometimes personal needs. But most of these have been produced by people that are in the engineering field. Now, I talked to you beforehand, so I know you don't have any engineering background, but maybe explain again where you came from.
I was vice president, head of acquisitions for MGM United Artists when my father became incontinent. And one of the things in acquisitions that you have to do if you're going to stay on top of acquiring films, which are all in the future, is your due diligence and know what your market is. So when I realized that there was a need that my father had, I am not an engineer. I remember one conversation with one of my first products, which was in the eye care business. I had brought in 5 engineers for the various elements that made this new invention. And one of them said, I can't do what you want me to do. And I guess because I wasn't brought up with limitations, I just said, yes, you can. If I can see it, you can do it. And he went and he did it. And that was the whole thing, is that, people are constantly telling you can't do something, and you just have to work through it. If you can see it, it can happen.
Yeah, that's great. Oh, you do have a couple of comments coming in here. Charlene Valmer said, thank you. So I can't argue with that one. Definitely thanks for introducing this. And Raj on our YouTube channel said, great invention. How do we get samples?
Well, I'm more than happy if you can either call our 888 leg bags, which is a toll-free number, or you can go on our website, and at the bottom you can connect with me, because you will connect with me. And we're a small company, so we're trying to get it in to as many hands in urology so that people become more and more aware of this. It's kind of a grassroots company. We're going further into the social marketing of this very soon. But it's anything that you can do to help get awareness of this product would be greatly appreciated. So we will send you a sample.
Great. And if I was a patient and I was looking to get this, is there a place you can order it? Or
yes, you can. Right now, you can go on our website, which is uroconcepts.com, uroconcepts.com, and you will see if where to buy link has a page. There's a referral form there. If you're qualified for Medicare, Medicaid, you can fill it out. We'll process it with you for a distributor so that you can start getting that, or you can buy it directly from our website. Now, we are going to, and this is for the Urosuspensory with the leg bags and tubing. We know some people prefer their own leg bags and that they're currently using. We are going to start within hopefully the next month making available the undergarment only without, and it's not Medicare, it's not considered a medical product, so it is not reimbursed by Medicare or Medicaid, but we're trying to get it very affordable so that people can use it.
And what would the cost be if you had to pay cash?
Well, right now we're in discussions with it, but I am looking at around $24.99. And we always give at least a 10% discount to veterans. So we offer it. The suspensory, I think, is $47.50. The reimbursement on that code is up to $56.97. But a lot of people are really more interested in the undergarment holder than the leg bags and tubing. So we're making that available.
Yeah, I would think that's true. My experience has been, on the other side where I've taken care of a number of patients with routine long-term catheters. They come in with these bags. Nowadays, a lot of the companies are buying this really cheap bag that has this really thin, you talk about a tourniquet, it's about that thick of a leg strap. And I would never even recommend that to anyone. We've always made sure in our office that we're buying at least the ones with the nice thick leg strap, but still it does. It's
still a tourniquet, no matter how you
still see
how you carve it out.
Yep, absolutely. And then they, to kind of counteract that device, they came up with another thing that is a glue down or stick on to your leg that you stick the catheter in to hold it, a catheter holder. Not a bad idea. I've seen more skin breakdown with that, especially how good the adhesive is. If you don't use alcohol to remove it, it'll peel off a layer of skin with it. So these are all bad ideas that are out there, better than just letting it hang. But I think that, I've always liked these underwear type holders. I couldn't really tell from your slide as well as maybe you could explain more how exactly the bag fits into the
Right.
underwear.
I'm sorry. I should have had a illustration on that. The inside around the pubic area are two openings that the leg bags from the inside fits down into each pocket. The release valve goes out of the bottoms. There's an opening, and then it attaches through the tubing or directly into the catheter. If it's indwelling, catheter fits right into it. Like I said, the Foley, ileocondyl, suprapubic, nephrostomy, condom catheters, it all works. We've been able.
No attachment that you have to hook up anything to. It just slides in there and holds it.
It holds it. Well, the bottom has it's sewn. I mean, it just sits into it, has a small opening where the release valve goes through. And then you've got the intake port at top. And then if it's a catheter or tubing, it just fits right into it. It's so simple. It is so simple. The one thing that we did do is some of our elderly, we're always improving. I will tell you this. We listen to our customers that said, where's this opening? Where's this opening? And because it didn't have, we now sew the openings with black thread so that you can see it, whether or not, if you have poor sight, some of our people, our customers are users of this. So it's very easy to see. It's very simple. It is so simple to use. I know that there are other things that seem more complicated. This is just so simple to use.
Yeah. That's kind of where I got the idea that it looked pretty simple to
it's very
not a lot of complicated things to try to figure out. That's always good.
Yeah.
So
and we sell to a lot of younger people. I did a couple Abilities Expo and showed it, and people just went bonkers over it. Like so many of the children that were there in wheelchairs, and they didn't know about it, and they were strapping on these leg bags and stuff, and it just it's just so much more comfortable. The other thing that we do is one of our first markets was in the VA hospitals, and so many of our veterans are in wheelchairs, and they have such sensitivity. So we have a 1 1/4 inch waistband that has a plush interior against the skin. So it's not like an elastic against the skin. It's everything, and the stitching that we use is not uncomfortable. Some stitching can be uncomfortable. We really, really make this simple and comfortable. We want people to be comfortable. If somebody is in a wheelchair, we don't want them to be uncomfortable on top of what they're also going through. So we have made through the progression of this product from our first conception to where it is now, we have listened to our users and really now have gotten a product that has no complaints to it, which I'm very grateful for.
Yeah. So I always like to ask people that are in the business of inventing stuff, what challenges did you face in bringing your vision to life?
Marketing. The company is very small. I started the company with $10,000. It wasn't, didn't have room to pay or do marketing. I had the vision that one person who would be using it would tell 2 people, and then those 3 people would tell another 2 people. I thought it was going to be a grassroots, and it's not. The world is such that you have to have a lot of money or a lot of salespeople out there to get your product awareness to it. So I'm really grateful for this opportunity, because I'm singing to the choir here, and everybody that's in a urology and nursing or a doctor, you're dealing with patients that can really benefit from this. And we're making it either affordable through Medicare, Medicaid, or when we release the undergarment, we're going to do it at the lowest amount that we can do it, so that there's no barrier, so that somebody can have a better life.
Yeah. And what advice would you give someone who else might be an inspiring entrepreneur looking to create a solution in healthcare space?
I would suggest not to start with $10,000. Number one.
Get an investor with big pockets.
Yes. And the way that the U.S., this is one of the reasons that we're going internationally, because so many other countries, including Saudi Arabia, that are really pro-medical, and they cover all of the medical, everything medically. You don't pay anything, if you're living in certain countries. In the United States, I found that one of the biggest challenges is that it's ruled by the big boys. It's by the big pharma, the big distributors and all that. And it's very hard to get into. It's extremely hard to get into some of the big boys. We're actually have a relationship with Cardinal Health, which also is EdgePart. And we have other distributors. However, like with Cardinal, if we wanted to utilize their sales force, I hate to say minimally, it could be all the way from $25,000 a year to $400,000 a year. Wow. So for a company like ours, we cannot afford, to utilize their sales without any real oversight. Just hope that they do something and generate sales, which is why we're expanding more into the social marketing right now, and we're bringing in a company to do that, to help us, because we've got really, not because I invented them, but we have really good inventions that bring a better quality of life and help to relieve the stigma and bring back the dignity. That was in my very beginning when I threw that box on that conference table and I said, I want to change. I want people, because I could become incontinent tomorrow. I mean, you don't have a say. Nobody says I want to be incontinent, so I could get hit by a car and become incontinent. Who knows what, and what was laying on that conference table was nothing that I wanted to wear or use. And so I've just tried to make it less stigma and help to people live a more normal life than before they had this diagnosis.
Now, I know you talked about entering new markets, worldwide markets. Do you ship internationally though? Because this show goes out to, last count, I think 46 countries. And I have had patients that have written into me and said, hey, I love this thing you talked about, but I can't get it. Yes.
We manufacture out of India, this product, and it ships anywhere. We've been dealing with a company. It hasn't gone into a contract yet. We want Europe, because we get so many people through our website that are in Europe that want this product. We just signed, as I mentioned, a 3-year distribution deal with one of the top medical distributors of Saudi Arabia and into the Persian Gulf also. We've begun discussions in Brazil, South America, and Chile, and that company also can expand further beyond South America. They also go into Mexico. So we're very, very open, but our sales force isn't going up there. It would require distributor in these markets to come to us, and we will negotiate very favorable terms and get this product internationally recognized and marketed, because incontinence is worldwide. It's worldwide. So, the other thing is we're working, because we manufacture in India, we're working on getting distribution in India. Right now, our manufacturer is an exporter and doesn't do distribution in India. So India is a big market for us also. And so we're anybody out there in any of these countries, please 888 leg bags. Leave a
There you go.
message or go to our website. And trust me, I don't care what time of the day. I work 24/7. I will be in touch with you because we want to expand our markets.
Yeah. Well, Celeste, it's barely been inspiring having you talking on our show today.
My pleasure.
Definitely going to bring you back. I'm especially interested in the new products if they come to market, or when they come to market, because I know with your drive they will.
Yes, never doubt, never doubt, never doubt.
Exactly. So you can talk about those. Would like a little plug in for next week's show.
Your Own Nurse episode 139 is coming to you live from the Chicago Metro SUNA Annual Spring Conference. We are featuring Dr. Jeffrey Albaugh as he presents You Should Be Dancing, Restoring the Rhythm of Intimacy. Join us for an insightful discussion on navigating intimacy challenges, enhancing sexual health, and restoring connection in relationships, all from one of the leading experts in urologic and sexual medicine. Don't miss this engaging session designed to educate and empower both healthcare professionals and patients alike. Join us March 29th. Note we are having a later start time at 9:30 a.m. Central Time.
So yeah, be sure to join us next week. We're coming to you live from the SUNA conference. The whole thing is going to be around the 70s and disco, so it's going to be fun. Everything is themed for the disco theme. Our speakers are all going out of their way to make sure things are like that, and you'll get a taste of it if you watch on our live show. But it's going to be at 9:30 because we've got a little different schedule since we're coming to you live. I might try to get this show started a little bit earlier and show you what it looks like at the conference center, depending on how much time I have. But definitely be sure to tune in for that. And then we'll see you all next week. Again, remember, 9:30.